Morning, everybody. How's everybody this morning? Okay, we have a young man with us this morning from the U.S. Census Bureau, Mr. Cory Stevenson, and he's going to explain to you that why it's very important to be counted. And so there's going to be some job opportunities also for some of you that may want to assist with the census taking. So without further ado, Cory Stevenson. Come on up. We're a little limited today because Ed and some of the other trustees, like I said, went to their new training class today, and Ed always kind of assists and makes sure everything's right. So I miss Ed this morning. Mr. Stevenson.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So on behalf of my Chicago Regional Director, Marilyn A. Sanders, I just want to thank you all for having me. The census is coming. It's very important, and I want to tell you why it's very important. So it's a count that has to be done every 10 years, and it's here so that we can ensure that every person is counted on U.S. soil. That's every person, all ages, races, ethnicities, and we want to ensure that they are counted once, only once, and in the right place. So it's in the Constitution to do a decennial count every 10 years, okay? And why is this so important? So it's important for representation. So it determines how many U.S. reps that we have. So it's 435 reps, we have 18. So we want to make sure that we keep our representation in our state. It also guides how over $675 billion it comes to states and local communities. So that helps build schools, it helps build roads, it determines where businesses might pop up, so it's very, very important, all right? And lastly, it's used for redistricting maps. So when population shifts, those maps get redrawn, and so you want to make sure that you have fair representation, and you want to make sure those maps actually reflect the population that you have, okay? So, like I said, the decennial count is coming, and it's a huge undertaking. It takes years of planning, and it takes thousands of people like yourself to support us in doing that particular count, okay? And while that count is coming along, we are going to have a lot of temporary jobs, and so I want to give you the website to apply for jobs. They're easy to apply for. It's flexible hours, and it's great pay, okay? So the website to go to apply for those jobs are 2020 Census is 2020census.gov/jobs. There's a phone number as well. It's 1-855-JOB-2020. So that's where you can go to get more information. Yes, the website is 2020census.gov/jobs. Okay. So you have to be 18 years old. You have to have a valid driver's license, because most of these jobs you might have to get around. We're hiring people in local areas because you all know your community the best, all right? So you're gonna have to pass a background check. So every employee has to pass a background check, all right? And the most importantly, the way you apply is online, so you have to have a valid email address, okay? So this is great for people if you have college students who are coming home, if you want a second job to help pay bills. Great work to help your community. All right. Another thing I want to really talk about is partnerships. So we can't do the decennial count without strong partnerships. That's why I'm here with the village of Dolton. And our partnership program is going out to state and local communities. We're going out to tribal governments. We're going out to community organizations, businesses, philanthropy, schools, and the religious institutions throughout this 2020 decennial campaign to help build partnerships, because you all will be our trusted voices, all right? So the way you guys help us is by engaging the community and letting them know why it's so important to respond. And what I didn't get a chance to talk about is how it's going to be different to self-respond. So this time around is the first decennial where people will be able to respond online, okay? So that's going to make it very easy for anybody to use a tablet, their phone, or desktop to respond to the mail-in form, okay? So there'll be 3 ways to respond. So you'll be able to use your internet, the Wi-Fi, anywhere you have Wi-Fi. You will be able to use the telephone, or you'll be able to use the traditional mail-in form. Those mail-in forms will come in at the end of March of 2020, and you'll have about a month to self-respond by April 1st. So April 1st is our very important Census Day. That's where we'll like everyone to self-respond. And if people don't self-respond, that's where you'll see mail coming towards you and people calling on the phone to let you know to please self-respond. If we haven't heard from you, then that's when we're going to see what people traditionally think about when you hear about the census, is that you see census takers, people going door to door. And so that's what you're going to see. And in early as May of 2020, there'll be census takers going out to ensure that we get a complete and accurate count. Any questions? Yes. The email address is 2020 census.gov/jobs. Yep. Yes. So for Cook County, it's $18 to $22. Yes, per hour. Yeah. So like I said, you get to make your own schedule for most of these jobs. So, do you have a question? Oh, no. So you get to make your own hours. They're up to 35 hours a week, right? And then you're most likely you'll be working in your community areas like yours, or around the community.
When does it start?
So we have our first campaign opening up in August, and so people are being hired right now, so for that particular campaign, yeah. And so that first campaign is address canvassing. So that ensures that our address list is accurate. So people will be going around checking addresses to make sure that we have everything accurate, so we can make sure that everyone gets completely counted. That particular part is during our group quarters campaign. So. Oh, sorry. So the question was, when are those people who are incarcerated going to be counted? And so those people will be counted starting in February of 2020. So that's called our group quarters campaign. And that's for any individuals where there's a lot of people living but only one address. Yeah. Yes, when you self-respond, either through the internet or by mailing back in the form, that ensures that people won't come door to door. Now, if information is incomplete, they might call to kind of try to verify information. All right. Well, mailing in your form or internet self-responding, responding online, ensures that most likely you don't have to have anybody come out to try to get your information.
How long is the census taken? What period of time? When, what?
So when we want people to self-respond, oh, sorry. I apologize about that. So the question is, how long is the actual census taking? Yeah. All right. So people will start to get, how long is the actual census taking? People will start to get their forms as early as March of 2020. So they have a month to kind of self-respond. So that's self-responding either online, by telephone, or and through the mail, which is traditionally the way the people answer their forms, okay? Yes.
Are all jobs going house to house, or some jobs are being counted down?
Hold on. Let me complete the question because I hadn't completed it. So April 1st is what's considered Census Day, April 1st, 2020. And so after April 1st, that starts our campaign, which is called non-response follow-up. So that's when the people will start to get calls and get mail that you haven't responded to the census form. And so we will still allow people to self-respond. And they'll have up to July 31st of 2020 to respond online. And then after that, when non-response follow-up, that's when you'll see the census takers come out. So, yes. Okay, can you repeat your question? Yes.
Are all the jobs just going house to house, or the jobs gonna be with internet, or with, county ballots that come back to respond?
Okay, so the question was, are all the jobs going to be going outside or in the field? So we do have, we're 8 states this time around. So in 2010, we were only 3 states. We were Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. And this time around, we've picked up 5 additional states, the Chicago region. So we're Arkansas, Iowa, Missouri, Michigan, and Minnesota as well. And so around our 8 states, we're going to have 27 offices opening up pretty soon. So they're area census offices. And so in those offices, there will be some work for like IT, clerks, people doing office work. But the large majority of temporary jobs are out in the field.
Now, what happens to the district if you're undercounted? What are the results of being undercounted?
What are the results of being undercounted? So what happens is a lot of our critical programs, the funding for those critical programs just get underfunded because people aren't being counted. And census data is used to fund a lot of critical programs like Medicaid and Medicare. Also, when you're talking about redistricting, they redistrict based off of population. So they, when population shifts, they redraw the maps.
Now, some people may be afraid of being counted because of they think there may be some results behind being counted. Say if they have warrants on them, immigration, they owe child support. None of that data is used for that, is it? Or given away?
Okay. So the mayor asked about how your information is shared, and that was a great question. So Mayor Rogers wanted to know, and the people of Dolton, all your information that's collected is safe and secure. We can't share that information with anyone. So every census employee takes an oath, and that oath is that if we share your information in any proprietary way that's not with registered people who have the authorization to get that data, we can have up to 5 years in jail or a $250,000 fine. So
there should not be any fear of anyone giving their information before being counted?
no, you definitely want to ensure that everyone's counted. So it's very safe, it's very secure. Even online, we are working with federal partnerships to ensure that there's no way to hack your information. And if there is some type of breach, that is isolated and mitigated and fixed correctly right away. But you should be very, 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 very secure that your information won't be shared to any other government agency. We can't share it in any courts. That information is private, and when we share out that information, we share it out in a way that your personal information or your business information can't be identified. Yes.
Do you work for a government agency like FBI, any of those organizations? Yourself, you, an organization. The data that you accumulate, where does it go? Who takes care of it? What part of government takes care of it?
My part of the government, the U.S. Census. So the question is who are we taking that information for? What government agency? So the agency that holds that information is the U.S. Census Bureau. Yeah. So we can't share any of your information with any of those agencies. So Title 13 protects your information for us sharing that information with any agency. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. We got anybody out there that need a job that want to do a little exercise walking and get paid for it? There's no quota in regards to how many, if they work on an hourly basis, collecting data from door to door. Is there a quota, a minimum amount of people they have to reach to get paid?
Actually, I'm not sure about that operations. I do know that you get to make your own hours. So with that saying, it's an easy way to help your community do this endeavor. It's a great endeavor. It takes thousands of people to make it work, and we hope that the city of the village of Dolton help us out.
Great. I hope that some of our residents take this opportunity to get employed to make sure that we get counted. Everybody gets counted in Dolton, so we can make sure that we keep our congressional district and our congressperson, and make sure we get the federal funding that we're so much needed. So thank you again, Mr. Stevenson. Coffee's here if you want some coffee. Today is going to be kind of like a all right. Today we don't have any additional special guests. I wanted to kind of make this a question and answer session. I forgot to introduce our clerk, Mary Kay. Come on up, Mary. I wanted today to kind of make this a question and answer session. I know some of you have seen and or heard different things, what's going on, and I want to verify them today. So if you have any questions in regards to that, then we're going to hopefully get all those questions answered for you. But I wanted Mary Kay to say a little something this morning. She's always a little shy and doesn't want to speak. But at any rate, Mary Kay is a wealth of knowledge. If you need anything in regards to the clerk's office, some of the legal aspects that's going on in the village, then Mary Kay can really respond to it and or look it up and find that information out for you. So if you got any questions for Mary Kay or the clerk's office, now's your time.
Good morning, everyone. While I frantically think of something to say, does anyone have any questions? If something comes to you, I'm in the back, and I'll be here afterwards, way in the back. No, I did think of one thing this morning, anticipating, fearing that the mayor might ask me to say something, and now I'm going to make you mad. As you may know, the village is divided into different districts for the purpose of water billing. Now, let me first preface what I'm saying with, contrary to what most of us assume, my office, the village clerk's office, does not handle the water bills, so don't yell at me, please. Feel free to yell, but not at me. Don't get mad at me. But we are all trying to work out the never-ending kinks in our system. One of them is recent in that if you live in my district, District 2, and you were billed for January, February, and March, I got my bill yesterday. Yeah. And of course, there's a late fee due after May 20th. And now, Mayor, I know you're always talking revenue and how we can't be giving money away. But I did verify with Janice Johnson, our Director of Administrative Services, and with Ms. Scott, the village administrator. It's not a huge amount. It's $1 something in my bill. But if you're not going to be charged the late fee, all right? Because the reason you're late is our fault. Seems self-evident. I know, Mayor, I just gave away a bunch of $1 somethings. But it seems only fair. It's fair. Ted?
I noticed in other times that I get the bill and it's due several days later. And I looked at the envelope and there's no postmark. So when I complained to the post office, they said, well, we send them out as soon as they come in. I thought it's a requirement that even if you use meter, you have to have a postmark date on them.
That's a question for the U.S. Post Office, right? But now I'm going to go home and find my envelope, just out of curiosity. But, yeah, there was nothing on it that I recollect.
Even if I get it 3 days before, the chances are I'm not going to pay it by the
Right, if it's right up against it. Well, we aren't in any position to give advice to other utility companies. We're trying to iron out our own issues. And this was certainly, among the many, I was about to say crazy, but I won't say crazy, among the many glitches that we're trying to tamp down. It's I don't like the image, but it almost feels like we're playing whack-a-mole with the water billing, not to mention the vehicle stickers, which are also on. They have been in for a while. If you haven't bought your vehicle sticker, you have until July 1st is the day it must be on, and I think July 1st is a Monday, so that Friday is the last day to buy your vehicle sticker before the price doubles. And even if you're okay with the price doubling, which makes me crazy, I'm just upset about the $1 something late fee, you can still get a ticket, all right, if your sticker is not on your car at 12:01 a.m. July 1st. And the other change in the water department, and again, I'm passing this information along as it comes to me, is that the payment center as a whole, if you're going in to buy your vehicle stickers as well, be aware that it's no longer accepting cash. And therefore, it's check, credit card, money order. And I know seniors, understandably so, are not terribly thrilled about writing a check or putting a $5 purchase on their credit card. But we are trying very hard to ferret out any problems, any irregularities in the billing and the collection of funds. So if you can just be patient with us, I don't know that it's going to be forever. Again, I know about it as much as you do, but I do want you to be aware so you don't have to make an extra trip, and that you are prepared if you haven't bought your sticker already. But I imagine most of the folks in this room have purchased their stickers, because seniors are usually pretty good at that. Question?
I went to get my sticker, and I didn't have the sheet, the bottom sheet or something they wanted. You gotta go so why I gotta go all the way back home?
No.
It's my VIN number and all that. They irritated me. That's what I did.
Yeah. That would irritate me. The comment was that the resident was told when she came in that she didn't have the bottom part with the information on her vehicle, and was told that it was required. It's not. I don't know. That goes in the glitch category, Marilyn, unless you.
Well, I'm going to say this in defense of the collection department or payment center. Nothing has changed for at least since I've been in office in regards to requirements on that sheet. So you may have forgot last year that you needed it, but nothing has changed. They were asking for the same information that they have been asking for at least since I've been in office. One of the things that we should do and that we're not doing, and I like to do it, is that When you fill out your information on the sheet, it requires the make of the car. I think it's the color too. I'm not sure if it's the color. VIN number. And, yeah. All that information should go into a computer database. So if a police officer say, Dalton, this is 3162, I'm requesting a 1028, which is information requested on a license plate on sticker number 3343. The dispatcher should be able to go into the computer, look up 3343 and say, oh yes, that was, it comes back to Jerome Gray, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, Village of Dolton. Unfortunately, what happens is you may see, and I know I see, and some of the police officers see, a person will have 4 cars, buys 1 sticker, he takes that sticker and only peels half of the tape off of it and puts it on his windshield, and when he drives that car, it's in that car, and then he takes it off and he puts it on another car where he wants to drive his Sunday car. So, and people do this. Last time I counted, we had over 16,000 registered vehicles in Dolton, but we've only sold like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 stickers. And here's where and when I came in the office, they weren't even selling that many. Elena used to take care of the stickers. She said, Mayor, we got to order more stickers. We never sold this many stickers before. When I was a trustee, the cost of the stickers were $20. The former mayor and some of the trustees had voted to raise the sticker price from $20 to $40 to raise revenue. That wasn't the problem. The problem is when you got 16,000 cars registered to the village and you only sell 800 stickers, that's the problem. The problem is enforcement. If the majority of the people, and all of them should buy stickers here to live here in the village, then you would gain the revenue that you're seeking. But to penalize the people that buy the stickers by raising the fee, you're only penalizing the people that buy the stickers, because the people that don't buy the stickers not going to buy it whether you raise it to $100 or you leave it at $10. So we have to have enforcement. And what I'd like to do is hire somebody to enter data from those stickers that are numbered and being purchased. So when the police officer's out on the street and he sees the car that, and he wants to run, because sometimes when they run license plates, that information doesn't come back. It says no record on file. If they run it through the Secretary of State, or they don't have the computers down, the information is down. But what that officer can do is he can go to the window, look at sticker number, like I said, 3343, call dispatch, and they can come back and give them the information to make sure that that sticker's on the right car and it belongs to the right person and or car. So that's something that we should be doing. In regards to, what was the other issue? The water bills. Big problem. And it's not just in this town. A lot of towns have problems with their water department. First of all, let's clear up this. Young lady just came up this morning and said, Mayor, take a look at this. I just got this bill yesterday, and it's dated May 20th. You're going to charge me that $4 late fee. I told her, no, we won't charge her a $4 late fee. And so Mary just verified that, so that will be taken care of. We have made some changes in the water department. There's going to be some continued changes in the water department. There's going to be people held accountable for what they do, and if they don't do it, I'm going to be honest with you, they won't be here. There's been a lot of hoopla in the last week, 2 weeks. Oh, I got fired, I was terminated, he don't like me, and all that other stuff. I said a long time ago, I don't fire people, you fire yourself. And we're making some changes. One of those changes was in the water department. Our bills did not even go out last month, as you can see. And I don't want to say too much because, you know, people always want to sue you. You know? They always want to sue you. And when they sue, me, they're actually suing you. So I don't want to say something to have them sue me, because ultimately you would have to pay for it if we're not successful in defending ourselves upon a suit. But anytime that you sue, and even if you win, you lose because you still got to pay the attorney fees. So I always think about liability. Are we going to get sued if we do this or we say this and different things like that? I'm going to say that the terminations that were made, they were, Mary don't want to be in the picture in case we get sued. Yeah, she was standing there too when he said it. The terminations that we made, they were for at-will employees. Does anybody know what at-will means? Most of you sound at-will. That means they can be terminated any time, like you said, Amos. But we don't want to terminate people if there's not any reason to do that. And then there's terminations, and then there's resignations. Now, all of you, I think, know what resignations are, right? Pretty much. So one thing, there was a resignation, and some people chose to say it was a termination. Well, there was a resignation, and we have a copy of that resignation. And that's what we took it as, a resignation. And then after the resignation and the termination happened, those people decided to hold a press conference and go on TV and bash me. Accusations, allocations, all this other stuff. And some of those people that were standing behind them during the press conference, if you took a look, were some of those same people that lost in the election. They mad, they upset, they didn't go the way they wanted to. So we're going to continue to bash the mayor, and try to ruin my reputation, whatever reputation I got, if I got any. But when they do that, they hurt you. It's so hard to try to keep Dolton in the news for good stuff, and people elect to go on TV and bash me and bash the town. Now, I got so many phone calls after that. Mayor, what you doing out there to them people? Well, trying to get the right people in here to serve you like you should be served. And when people come out and vote, they basically tell you who they want in office, and they basically tell you who they don't want in office. And when the results come out, if you lose, get on about your way. Get out the way. Quit interfering. People are trying to vote for good government and trying to make this a better town. So the haters and the people that still mad because they lost are still causing a lot of problems. Now, I guess most of you are aware now that we have a new interim acting police chief. Are you? Yeah. Okay. When you change in the police department, public works, housing department, which are a lot, your biggest budgets, and you make changes, people get upset and mad and things like that. But when things happen here in the village, whether it's shootings or murders, your water bill ain't right, your housing issues not correct, your vacant houses with tall grass, things that don't happen, they blame me. Mayor, your people over in Public Works, they won't cut no grass. Mayor, the housing department all screwed up. I got my water bill, it's all messed up. What you doing, Mayor? I don't handle all that. I can't handle all that. Hopefully, we get the right people in place to make sure it happens and it's done right. But anytime it's not done right, it's my fault. So, what do you have to do when it's not done right? You got to make changes to make sure that it's done right. And for 6 years, I wasn't able to make a change at all. At all. Even though some of these things were happening, and I got blamed for it. Some of that was by design. They wanted me to look bad, So, if they want me to look bad and they're gonna hate on me, I'm gonna make some changes, and they can really hate on me. Because I don't care whether I can make the changes or not, it's got to get right. It's got to be done right. Now, we're getting a lot of phone calls right now because of the grass, but this has been, all records have been broken in regards to the rainfall that we've had. We've had over 9 inches of rain. Plus, we're getting a late summer now. It's been cold for a number of months where it should have been warmer, where we could have got out there and got on top of these things, but with all this rain, just continues to grow. But I want to say something in regards to the police change. Come on up, Chief Mobley. Now, our previous chief, I accepted his resignation. There were some things that we talked about prior to his resignation. After the resignation, he chose to do the press conference with 2 other people that were terminated to make it look like it was a termination, but I have his resignation in my hand. And, he was a popular police chief among the residents. But behind the scenes, there were some issues, which we had talked about. There was no action taken for a couple of years. And who gets the complaints? Me. Mayor, your police ain't doing this, they're not doing this. Why is so many shootings? We can call the police department. They keep shooting over here. We got murders going over here. We never see the police. So when it comes into my office, it goes into their office. And it's fine to be spit and polish and shine and clean and be popular. But the stats show a different thing. Crime stats show a different thing. And when you've had time in office to make sure those things happen and they've been brought to you before, and there's other issues that I can't talk about that's been brought to you, it's time for a change. I don't care how difficult it may be or not. It's time for a change. Because when it comes to my office, and they say they've already been to the police department with it, something got to be done about it. We got shootings in the same area. It's been complained about all the time, several times. It's been addressed, and then it has not been addressed. It's time for a change. Now, something that wasn't said at that press conference was that the chief came into me approximately 2.5 weeks before his resignation. Said, Mayor, I want to talk to you personally about something that was, am I going to get terminated? I haven't decided that. There's nothing been decided on that. But do you hear the footsteps? You hearing footsteps? I'm just saying, when you ask me if you're getting terminated before you turn your resignation in, you must be feeling something. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. For 6 years, I haven't had the opportunity to make changes where changes needed to be made. And I appreciate the opportunity of this new board seeing that there need to be some changes. And people need to be held accountable. So after receiving the resignation of our police chief, I had a conversation with our deputy chief, Ernest Mobley, in regards to becoming the acting interim police chief. Told me it'll probably be for 30 to 90 days. We're going to take a complete evaluation of the police department and make a decision who's going to be chief and how we're going to move this village forward. One of the issues a big issue that I had under the last command was closing our police department at 7 o'clock at night. You don't close a police department at 7 o'clock at night with 25,000 residents to 24,000 residents. We're not Mayberry. So, and our chief now can verify our police station is open 24 hours now. Is that correct, Chief?
That's correct. Good morning, residents. Thank you for coming out. I want to touch on the stickers that the mayor briefly touched on. We face this every year. People they do get stickers and they try to beat the system. They'll get the sticker and put it up in the tenant area. So when our officers go out and start writing the violations, they'll come in and run into the village hall and be like, "Oh, I bought my ticket. I bought my sticker. Here's my receipt." And yeah, they did purchase it, but when the officer wrote the ticket, either it wasn't displayed or it was displayed in an area where you couldn't see it. Please make sure you put your ticket in the center, on the left or the right of your windshield. Like the mayor said, don't partially stick it on there to take it off. Some people, they have excuses. Well, I don't want nobody to know where I live at, and this, that, and the other. Be proud of where you're from. Otherwise, you're going to get fined. So I would rather be proud of where I'm from. And I don't think anyone really pays attention to your windshield like that, going to look at your vehicle to see what city or village you live in. Secondly, show of hands, how many of you all have the Dolton Police app? Okay. If you have a cellular device, iPhone, Android, I want you to please download that app that was created. And we got some information on there, and I'm going to be putting information on there on a weekly basis. So for you, I'm going to put some information on there coming up Monday that I received Thursday, but I'll just let you know. Just to update, and this section is going to be called Community Update from the Dolton Police. So I started on it yesterday, but I'll finish it on Monday morning. So just to give you an update since you're here, and then our viewers can see, a year ago today we had a homicide on 146 in Woodlawn. That was where the young lady, I believe she worked for the post office, and she was found in the alley. We had 2 suspects. The first suspect was caught fairly quick. He happened to be a previous boyfriend of our victim, and he was caught. The second suspect was at large. I just want to let you all know that the second suspect has been caught, and both have been charged with first-degree murder. Okay? So I'm going to put that on the app for all of you all who have it, and those of you who don't. And the rest of the community, please download that app. We're going to put information on it about the Project Connect police and community meetings, as well as going to be on the village website. And you're just going to have a lot of valuable information trying to keep you in a loop of what's going on in our community. There's also feedback that you can put on there. You can give crime tips. You remain anonymous, and all your information is secure. If you do want to put a contact number, it is secured. It doesn't go any place else. I have the master setting. I see it, and then I disseminate it until the police department, and then we take care of business like that. Okay, so I just want to let you all know that we're moving forward. I'm passionate about the community. If you remember when I got sworn in as the deputy chief, that's what I said. I'm a community-oriented person, and I always have, and I always will be. And for as long as I'm here, I'm going to put my best foot forward and make this town, village, city safe for you all. And because I wouldn't want to have it any other way. And I don't have to live here, but I work here. So I spend just as much time in Dolton. Actually, I spend more time in Dolton than I do at home. I told the mayor, I said, Mayor, I don't know about the salary. I want to go to hourly because, hey, anytime something happens, I'm out there just as well as our mayor. And just to touch on the mayor, I know a lot of different mayors. I know a lot of different police chiefs, deputy chiefs, and so forth. And this mayor that you all have right here, that we all have, he's out not because he's nosy. He's out because he cares. If he didn't care, he could be at home asleep. I can call and inform him, and he'd be like, okay, and roll over. Half the time, he's out there before we get out there. And he knows what's going on. If you just think about when you address something about the water bill or about flooding or about a tree or about a light, he already knows what they tell you because he's out actively riding through his town. And a lot of mayors, they may not know that. They might just hear it and say, okay, write it down and give it to that prospective department head. But he already knows what's going on, and that's a good thing that you have a leader who knows what's going on in the community. So if you have any questions or concerns, I'll take them right now. Yes, ma'am.
July 4th is coming up, and every year, all those firecrackers going off, they upset my dog so much. And sometimes it's to 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning. So what can be done about that? We call the police department?
You can call the police department. We're working on a plan now when we have events and for the 4th of July to get as much staff as we can out there. You can call the police department, but you have to realize we may have 10 officers on the street, but we have just under 25,000 residents. So, but when we do catch those violators, their fireworks are confiscated and they are fined. So yes, by all means, please, you can call us. Yes, ma'am.
I have the Ring app on my phone, and so a lot of times I get notification that it's shootings going on 154th and Cottage Grove by that Citgo gas station. One day I got a Ring message that said all of these reports are fake, but it just seems like my Ring app has been inundated with it, and I just want to know if something is really going on at that Citgo gas station because my husband goes to the barber shop over there and somebody told him they're selling drugs out of there. I don't know, but I keep getting these notifications that shootings are going on up there, and I just want to know if this is true as far as the shootings are concerned. If this is going on, because that's right like 2 or 3 blocks from my home.
Okay. We did have a shooting up there about 3 weeks ago. Nobody got injured. A lot of bullets flew around, but no one was injured, and we are thankful for that. However, we just had a meeting with the owner and the manager of that gas station, myself with the village administrator and the deputy chief. And we put some strict stipulations on them. And one of the things is that they have that plaster all up there. And I don't like that, and a lot of Family Dollars, they have that up there. I think that's an attraction for crime and robberies because you don't know, you could pull up to purchase some gas and everybody could be laying down there on the floor getting robbed and you don't know. So we gave the manager a certain amount of time to pull that down because he said he wanted to have it pulled down professionally because it's like tent, but it's just advertisement paper and it's telling everything that they sell, but you cannot see in. So we gave them that. We also told them to have security. They had security, but not around the clock. They had security at certain times, so we questioned why these times. Crime don't stop, and so if you need to have it because we're getting so many police calls to this area that you need to have security around the clock. So that was 2. So with that being said, they're aware that if they don't meet our requirements, then they're going to get shut down and pull that business license. I think it's something in the works already with that gas station, because it's the people. It's not the owner. It's the people that he leased it to. He wants them out as well. So, but we're working on that, and we're already on top of it. Okay. Yes.
I was wondering if after the initial interim period is over, would they be considering any community input about who's the next chief going to permanently be? That's a question for the mayor?
Yeah, that's a question for the mayor, and he's on the phone right now. But
I want to know if, I know the final decision is yours, but we all know these officers and the chiefs and things like that. I was just wondering, at the interim period, you just mentioned the interim period that'll be over with, will you be considering the community's input in terms of making your final decision about who the chief will be?
What about the deputy, name?
I'm going to say I'll take it under advisement
No, I just wondered if that part of
because you can get 2 people in the room, or you can get 25 people in the room, and you're going to have different decisions, And every mayor, every town, there's certain positions that they appoint. Police chief, fire chief, usually housing, public works, and because those are critical positions, and the mayor is really held accountable. So the mayor really would like to make that final decision. Now, you can take advice from the community,
Just as
but
consideration.
but in the but in the end, even if you let one of your community members pick your chief, you may get another community member and say, hey, I don't like him. People say like, oh man, he's a really good person, he's a good guy and everything, and I'm gonna tell you, everybody got baggage, okay? Just depends on how much baggage you got and whether people find your baggage, find out about your baggage. But you can have a really nice guy outwardly, but there may be some issues at home or some issues in the community. So all I'm going to say is that everything will be taken into consideration, advisement.
That's all. Just a little consideration. I know you got a final call. I just wanted to take the pulse of the community.
And one last thing before I sit down, if you all have any concerns or questions, concerns, complaints about the police department, please come to the police department. And if you don't get the help you need at that first level with the records clerk or that immediate supervisor, ask to see the next supervisor. Make sure you get a name and a star number. Everybody has a name plate on and a star number, and so that way we can identify that, because one of the things that some of the residents do, and then it happens in all the villages around, but they'll bypass the police department and go straight to the mayor. Oh, mayor, I want to talk to you. But you have to give us opportunity to help and address your situation. Before Elizabeth had got terminated, me and her work hand in hand. She would give me complaints, concerns, anything that she gave me that was police related. I got Johnny on the spot on it. I call the person, I go visit them, I'll go and meet with them, and they wasn't expecting it, and guess what? I handled it. But you got some people, they know the mayor, and because, he's very open, they want to bypass it and go complain, but, he'll say, have you talked to the police department? And be like, oh, no. And then we end up having a meeting down in his office. Give us opportunity to fix the solution, fix the problem, and then if you're not satisfied at that level, by all means. But most of the time, I can speak for myself. When I've been given a problem or something to handle, it pretty much stops right there, because I know how to deal with the community and address your problems and get it handled, okay? So if you could, if it's a concern in the police department, please see us first, and if it doesn't get handled at the lower level, then keep it going until you see myself or the deputy chief. And if the deputy chief doesn't resolve it, please make sure that you request to see me, okay? Any more questions? Yes, sir.
This isn't a question, it's a comment. And it's something good that happened. I was home in bed the other day. I had been working in the garden, I felt tired, so I went to bed. All of a sudden, thought I heard some banging on the door. Then it sounded like there was banging on the other door. So I stuck my head out the window. It was a police officer. And he said, just want to make sure everything's okay. I'm doing a well-being check. And I said, who called you? And he pointed to next door. And I thought that was kind of strange, because the neighbor on that side never talks to me except when he wants something. The other day, the guy who cuts his grass was there, and he said, you know, I'm the one who called the police to check on him. And I said, okay, thank you. I talk to him, he gives me grass clippings, and I give him whatever he wants from my garden. And I'm glad he did that. But could you have a registry at the police department? I've lived in Dolton 50 years. I know people in Dolton have my phone number. But when a request like that comes in, they can look at the address, they can see who lives there, and they can try to call.
So you're saying we maybe should create a registry?
Yeah, be voluntarily, people give you their number and say, hey, any problem, you want to get a hold of me, here's my phone number.
Okay, we'll talk more about that and see. I want to see exactly where you're going and what you want to do with that, and maybe it can be something that's implemented for the people that would like to be registered on that. Anyone else? Ernest Mobley. Okay, so I just want to say thank you all for coming out. Yes, ma'am.
We talked about the car stickers, what about the dogs? I know I have in my neighborhood a dog be loose every day, especially on Tuesday when garbage pickup day. He go through all the garbage on the neighborhood. But one thing about public works, there was a man coming down the street, he made sure he cornered the dog until the people came out and got the dog. Is something can be done about all these dogs walking around with no pooper scoopers going around, period? You know?
Well, on a daily basis, we get dog calls. I would say on an average, a weekly average, we probably take 3 to 5 dogs to the Animal Humane Society. And the ones that's running at large, if we can identify who the owner is, then they get fined either through the police department or code enforcement.
But are they being registered?
Are they being registered?
We got to have stickers for the car, don't they have stickers for the dog?
Right, hold on a second.
Okay, so I will explain that. When we send out the stickers for the cars, we are sending stickers out, tags, and applications that you can fill out if you have a pet. So I'm receiving a few calls here and there from residents who are saying, why am I getting this to register a pet and I don't have a pet? We send that out even if you don't have a pet, because in the course of a year, since you got your car sticker, you may have gone to the Humane Society and adopted a pet, or you may not even know that you do need to register your pet. So if you do receive those, that's why you are receiving that form for your pet, and you are supposed to register your pet. So, I mean your dog.
Your dog. We're not. First of all, I didn't know we were sending that out, and I'm going to stop that because of the cost of the form of printing the form. If we sending out, 10,000 sticker applications and a dog application, and we only got 300 people with dogs, it's costing us money to send those applications out. But we will make it clear on on channel 499 in information that we put out. We're looking to actually put the Sentinel newspaper back out. So we're gonna budget for that, to get the information out. But in regards to the dogs that are out here, there has been strict dog enforcement, and like the chief said, we pick up dogs, we take them where they need to go. I don't think we can take them to Chicago Ridge anymore. But there's a local veterinarian here that we take them to, and I think in Chicago Heights maybe even. Not sure about that and how to dispose of the dogs, but there's going to be strict enforcement on that. And we give a lot of tickets out during the summer, and that's when it's the biggest problem for us in regards to dog violations, whether it's them not cleaning up behind themselves or leaving the dog run loose, not on a leash and things like that. Any more questions for the chief?
Yes, sir.
In the late 80s, the police department had an initiative for the village stickers where they were actually going block by block, even into the driveways and if they could see into the garage to confirm that every car had a village sticker. So I don't know, are you still doing that? Would that be something that could increase people using stickers, getting stickers out there, gaining revenue from the tickets from people that don't have stickers, even in the driveways?
Well, we do check them on the streets, and if they're on the driveway, we don't go behind your fence line. Like if you have a driveway and you got one vehicle right there, and then the other vehicle is behind the fence line or whatever, no, they're not going on your property, but they are getting out. Right,
In the
right.
80s they did.
Right.
In the 80s it was, they advertised it out that they would go, even look in the garage. If you had a window, you had a car in there without a sticker.
Not in the driveway and on the street, yeah, but actually in the garage, no, I don't think they're looking through the window because, yeah,
Crazy back then.
yeah, but in the driveway and on the streets, yeah, we are checking the vehicles. So, you know, please make sure you all be in compliance by July 1st, okay? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. We are looking for different ways to create revenue. We don't want it to border on harassment, but we want compliance. And when we ask you to comply, we want to make sure that we're doing a good job in the services that we provide for you. A big important issue right now and a priority of mine is getting that water department straight. Now, I got some phone calls yesterday in regards to, they said, Mayor, you know, I just heard on the TV or read in the newspaper or saw it on the internet that Mayor Lightfoot in the city of Chicago is not going to do any more water shutoffs. Okay, so I looked it up, and that's one of her initiatives. But we buy our water from the city of Chicago, and that water comes from Lake Michigan. So I can't say we're not doing any more water shutoffs because we have to pay our bill to the city of Chicago. The city. Yeah, city of Chicago. So, of course, that wouldn't apply to us, but at any rate, we have to do water shutoffs. Now, since we have stepped up the water shutoffs, there's been a number of people that have called, hey, Joe, you got a wrench to turn my water back on? And they have turned their water back on. So if Public Works or the police catch you turning your water back on, it's a $1,500 fine and a ticketed issue. You know, you'll get a day in court if you want to. But at that point, you have to pay that before you get your water back on. So what I would suggest is that you try to make arrangements with the water department before you go back out there and try to turn your water back on, or have someone else turn it back on, because it's going to be a little bit difficult to have your water restored if that's the case. We're not here to punish anybody, and we want to work with everybody. But we have to make sure we got an $8 million outstanding water bill with the city of Chicago. And we got to make sure we can pay it and get it paid as quickly as possible. So because they charge us penalty and interest. Right now we have over $2 million on the penalty and interest side. They say if we can get it paid relatively quickly, there's a possibility of that penalty and interest going away. And that's what we want to try to get done. I am also trying to pursue to get monthly water billing. If we go to monthly water billing, it'll be more manageable for the customer, and it also will be able to collect the revenue we need to pay the city of Chicago. So also remember that when you make complaints about your water bill, there's only a certain portion there that's about your water. You got trash on there and you got sewage on there. So remember, that's part of your water bill. I just want to say a few more things. We visited the elementary schools this past week and last week, and we get a chance every year to talk to the students before they go on summer break. You'd encourage them to stay out of trouble, what to do, how to call 911, but we gave out close to 2,000 cups of ice cream. We do this every year. And we found out that by giving them ice cream, they listen to us before, they listen to us before we give them the ice cream. Same thing like here, the raffle. We wait to the end and then do the raffle, and we wind up getting more people staying and leaving. Same thing concept with the kids. So, but it was real funny. They share so many different things, sometimes a little bit too much what goes on in the household and other those things like that, but we get a chance to actually give them some safety tips before they go out. As our clerk, Mary Kay, stated that the stickers, we're going to be open on June 29th from, where's Elizabeth? Okay, from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. That's a Saturday. That's the Saturday before the last day of the stickers to be posted. So from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock on June 29th, a Saturday, the water department will be open to last minute purchases of the vehicle sticker. That's about all I had to say. I want to, Chief, thanks for giving me a few perks back there. But I'm going to say one thing, not trying to be arrogant, not trying to be, sure-footed, but I am sure-footed on this. I'm going to say this. I know this town. I know these alleys. I know these dead-end streets. I know this town. In 1975 through 77, I used to patrol out here when I was on the state police right out there. We used to assist Dolton weighing trucks, training them in weighing trucks and things like that. That's at 75. I meant to say 95. I'm not that old. But I know this town left and right, like the back of my hand. You can't do a good job unless you know your job. And you gotta have the proper equipment to do it. But when I go through this town, I go through it like when I was on patrol. I said, hey, that window wasn't open last night. That light's not supposed to be on tonight. They call me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm out there because I want to know exactly what happened before the news media call me. And I don't try to run the police department, but if I see something not right, I tell who's ever on command there. I ask the command and the chief to call me when things happen. So before the news media call me, One of the worst things that can happen is I get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning from the news media about a murder that my police department haven't even notified me about it. Hey, Mayor, what's going on out there? We heard you had a murder at 154th, da, 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 da. What's going on? No. I want to know. I want to know the circumstances, anybody hurt, any suspects, anybody detained or arrested. I want to know. Because this is my house, I need to know what's going on in my house. Just like you need to know what's going on in your house. So in some cases, if we need to be defended, I can defend it. In some cases where we need to say, hey, they did a good job, we say they did a good job. One of our biggest budgets is the police department. And I said that water department is a priority, that police department is a priority. We have to make our residents safe, and we have to generate more revenue to make sure that we have more police officers on the street. I think you'd be frightened if you knew on some occasions how many police you had on the street on a certain shift. One of the biggest things that I heard when I was running for office, we never see the police. You know, one of the perceptions of being safe or feeling safe is seeing the police. Whether you're safe or not, but seeing the police make you feel a little bit safer, you know? So, same thing with the criminals. Man, we're not going to Dolton today. You see all them police out there? They even got the county out there. They feel the same thing. We're not going over there for fear of getting caught because there is a police presence. And hey, I'm not moving. We don't have no crime in our area. And we got police. So it's a balancing act. But we have to hire more police officers because we're down from where we used to be. Dolton used to have 66 police officers at one time. I'm not saying we need to get there, but we are down from where we should be to be able to cover every aspect of keeping this community safe. And that's a priority. We're going to hire police officers, and we're going to figure a way how to pay them. Now, I've been getting a lot of complaints, I won't say a lot, some, about the fees that were raised on licenses, business licenses, and liquor licenses, and specialty licenses. Mary, you're going to drive us out of business. My license went up. I got 2 businesses in Dolton. My license went up $500. So it went up $250 per business. Yeah, that's right, Mary. You trying to put me out of business? No, what I'm trying to do is keep Dolton in business. That's what I'm trying to do. Because every year and or throughout the years, we have had increases to our house, just like you've had increases to your house. There's been increases with electric bills and other utility bills. We get increases too. The last time, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mary Kay, the last time we had increases on our licenses was in 1996. Mary, you want to comment? She's agreeing with me. 1996. 2006, 2016, now it's 2019. 23 years we had not had an increase in licensing fees. Now, I'll give you a couple examples. I'm not sure which one it was, the beauty salon and or the nail salon. But how do you justify having a business license for $70 a year? How much it costs you to get your nails done? Depending on how elaborate you get. How much it costs you to get your hair done? One hairdo covered their license fee. One hairdo. That wasn't even $10 a month. But every year, every other year, when these union contracts come up, whether it's public works, police, or fire, we have to address them, and it costs you money. But none of our fees was going up to help pay for your fire and your police. And so, when I first came into office, I wanted to raise the fees. But what happens is, they say, man, you hit us so hard. Well, you know, you have to put in a graduated increase. As our bills go up, we can't keep absorbing those costs and not cover them. There we go. We can't. You know, this is a business too. The Village of Dolton is a business too. And we have to make sure that we can provide those services, put the proper people in place, and pay for those services. And it's difficult, and it's gonna be a little painful, but we can get back on track. We can get back on track. They gave away all those houses to one developer. All those houses, those vacant houses that was given away to this developer, where it was the prime source for us to bring in a lot of revenue here to the village. They gave it away. Previous board gave it away. Over 40 some odd houses. And one of the houses, the first house, I think sold for like 147,000 or 150,000. That was our source of revenue. That was our source of being able to pay off bonds, to be able to pay off the city of Chicago, and it was given away. So we have to get creative about bringing in revenue. And we're gonna be aggressive about it. I got 2 more years left in my term, or 22 months, whatever it is. There was a resolution put in place by the previous board to limit me on term limits. So I couldn't run, Mary Kay couldn't run. I'm happy to announce that there was a bill put in place by the House and through Senator Harris and State Representative Thaddeus Jones, and it passed the House and it passed the Senate, and I can run again. And Mary Kay can run again. If I choose to. You know, 22 months is a long time, and a lot of things can happen. So, but at any rate, I'm gonna work hard, especially with these new trustees, and we're gonna try to get this town back on track financially. And we can do it. We just have to be creative in generating the revenue. Today is my daughter's birthday, and I was supposed to go, actually our whole family, not our whole family, but most of the family, was going to go on a trip. There's about, I think, 25 of them or 27 of them that's in Jamaica today, celebrate my daughter's birthday. I was supposed to go, but I didn't go. I just lost my brother. He's being buried next week. So I wasn't in that mood to party or celebrate. So that's about it for today, unless anybody got any questions. Anybody got any questions in regards to the police department? None? Everybody feels safe? But, you know, in saying something in regards to the police department, I'm kind of glad that it has been rainy, that it has been cool, and I think it has helped with possibly any type of shooting or unrest situations that, you know. But one thing I wanted to do with the police department is get ahead of this crime. You know, it seemed like we were always on the defense and not on the offense. We have to get ahead and put some visions in place and do some things to make sure that we keep our crime level down. And that's the approach we're going to take right now with the new people in command and going forward. Amos, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, I just want to know, the water bill we just got yesterday. What's the grace period now? Just for the information.
Pay it today. His question was the water bill they got yesterday. What's the grace period on it? I told him to pay it today. We need the money. I'm not sure. Mary, do you know, is there a grace period or what is it? Those bills went out late. I would ask that you pay them as quickly as possible, but I understand by you receiving them late. Don't worry about the late fee, but I'm not sure if there's actually a grace period.
I thought it was 10 days, wasn't it, Mary?
I'm referring to Mary Kay. She has, and like Mary Kay said, she's not responsible for the water department. She has a little bit more interaction with what's going on than I do. So I'm gonna just let her respond to that.
I'm racking my brains for what the ordinance says, but I do know that the due date for this last round District 2 bills was, the late fee kicked in on May 20th, and that was for the first 3 months of the year. So I would certainly suggest that you pay it within 30 days for sure, because you're going to be getting another bill, on top of this one, assuming we get our act together. So I'm not going to pay my late fee, even though, as I said, it's minimal on principle, and I wouldn't ask anybody else to do it either, but please don't wait till your next bill comes out, on time, and then you've got 2 bills that you have to pay.
Okay. I'm going to say something, too, in regards. You heard all this stuff. The mayor's not paying his water bills. He don't get them. He hide them. He's got them inactive, all this stuff. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. How all of a sudden, you're getting your water bills at one address, and then when the political season comes, now all of a sudden your water bill's going somewhere else. How does that happen? You know how it happens? By somebody in the water department tampering with accounts. That's what happened to me. Some of these candidates that were running for office, some of the previous trustees that were in office, interfered with some of the employees, intimidated some of those employees, and they started messing with my blank. You can fill the word in. The political game is so dirty. And I'm gonna use this, that fake news is real. Is real. So take it with a grain of salt. Think what is going on, Think about all those people that came up during the election, during this election time. I had all their comments and everything. They ran for office and everything. Now where they at? You don't see them. And if you see them, they in there still hating. Still hating. So we're going to overlook that, and we're going to do what we have to do to make sure we get this village back on track. You can jump on the train and ride with us, or you can get run over by the train. Because we're going to make this a better town to live in. We're going to make sure that we do the things right in those offices in there and these departments right. Now, before we go into the raffle, Matt think he got away with not getting cracked on today. Come on up here, Matt. I'm going to beat up Matt today. I got a question back there. Talk to me personally. All right. Okay. I've heard at the board meeting, and I get calls in the office, Mayor, I called Public Works, nobody answered, they don't call me back. Okay? Now, I take maybe 50% of that to be correct. And then some of it gets blown up. I called 50 times and nobody answered the phone. Well, let me tell you, if you call the second time, nobody answered the phone, then call me. Don't call 50 times to not get an answer. Now, how many lines in the water department, in the public works, Matt?
2 lines. 2 lines.
Okay. There's 2 lines. When we got weather like this, or weather that we've had with the rain and everything, and I'm not trying to defend them because I'm not going to defend them. Matt's going to have to defend this. We get an abundance of calls. And we're getting a lot of calls now in regards to the grass. We have 3 contractors out there that's cutting grass. We may need to bring on a few more because of all this rain that we've had. And you know, if you cut your own grass, you probably have to cut it maybe sometimes twice a week with this rain, or depending on how neat you want your grass to be. But that's one of the issues that we're having right now. Now, the only reason I cannot see somebody in Public Works and not answering the phone, because we got 2 clerks over there, is either they BSing somewhere outside or whatever. I'm gonna make it real for you this morning. Or they're on the other phone lines, and we're getting a lot of phone calls. But we're gonna correct that, right, Matt? Okay, we got you on camera. Got you on camera now. So Matt's gonna do whatever he needs to do to talk to his people in there. And even if we gotta get 2 more phone lines in there, you know, do we have voicemail on there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got voicemail on there. So, you know, and that's another thing. They never call me back, Mayor. I said, they don't call me back either. That's not true. I always go direct to Matt or John. But we're gonna do our best, and we're gonna do a better job at calling people back too. Right, Matt?
Yes, sir.
You got that? So every department, we're gonna make a significant improvement in, and we're gonna ask for more accountability. You know, I'm gonna say for myself, I'm not a micromanager. I've had, with my jobs, I never was micromanaged. They told me what I needed to do, and I did it to keep them off me so they wouldn't have to micromanage me, and I could keep my job. Because I don't, you only got to tell me once. I don't like to be hounded. I'll do what I need to do and get it over with. And that's what we're going to have done in all these departments. I'm supposed to be a part-time mayor. It's supposed to be a part-time position. All these suburban, Dolton is not a part-time job for governing and trying to make things right. I'm gonna say, I think that we are actually 6 years behind where we should be. You know, I haven't been allowed to do anything, put anything in place, visions or of going forward and getting things done. Have been successful in at least bringing some businesses still in, but there were a lot of business opportunities that we lost because of the disagreements on the board and the way the town was governed. I'm happy to say that we have 2 great new projects coming to Dolton. Hopefully it's going to happen this year. And we're going to continue to solicit and try to get new businesses in here to help with our tax bases and things like that. So Matt, my light is out behind my house. It's on a wooden pole, and I called PW and tell them that the light is out behind my house on a wooden pole. What happens?
You call in with a wooden pole light. 95% of the wooden poles that are in Dolton belong to ComEd. We will take the information, give us your address. We will contact ComEd, let them know about a street light out. You can also contact ComEd, let them know the same thing. Got to make sure you give them a good address, because if they come out there and they don't have a good address, they'll check the one and it could be the wrong one, and then they move on. But call in, let us know, we'll check it, and then we'll get it into ComEd to make sure they check it out too.
Okay, we're working with one mic today. Now, I'm going to partially disagree with Matt on you calling in. Because what happens when you call in about a ComEd light, it takes up their time from doing other things. And what would help us more and will get the light repaired quicker is if you call ComEd. Or if you have access to a computer, you put the information in the computer, it generates an order, goes right to ComEd, they'll get it faster than you calling us, then we give them the wrong location or whatever. Now, to give them a more accurate, detailed location of that pole, if you go out behind your house, you see a wooden pole, 99% of those poles has a tag on it. That tag may say 1234-0339, okay? First numbers identifies the kind of pole it is. The last, and part of that number identifies the location. That last number identifies, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, the actual location of that pole, okay? So if you go on ComEd's website, there's only a few questions they ask. They ask you for a physical address. They'll ask you for a pole number. Some of those poles may not have a pole number. That's why they want the physical address. And then I think there's a little box down there to give them some further information. It could say behind garage so-and-so, in between these two garages, the address is on the back of my garage. But it helps them identify where that pole is, quicker. And it will. And also, usually when they come out, some of these poles have been up for quite a while, and they have those old type lights there. When they usually come out, they upgrade that light. They take the head off and repair it and upgrade that light. So, so you would help us a big deal by calling ComEd or going online, putting that information. Go out there and look at that pole. If you see us out at night, during the day, go out there, look and see if there's a tag number on there, and then put that tag number in that request to get that pole repaired, get that light repaired. Yes?
Would the same thing apply for leaning poles, light poles?
The same thing will apply for leaning poles. Now, I'm going to say this. They will come out and inspect it. They will determine the degree of how it's leaning, how much, if it actually needs to be replaced, because a lot of times when they come out and replace those poles, you may be without electricity in that area for a while because they're reconnecting. They have to take the old pole out, disconnect it, usually bore a hole for the new pole and replace it, and then do the attachment of the electrical wires back to that pole. So, but you can complain right to ComEd. Go right to their website and complain about, things you need to do, that needs to be done. Also, I'm gonna say, when you come down Greenwood, you'll see all those lights. We've been having some difficulty with some of the lights burning out on Greenwood. As a citizen, and to even help us out, you coming down, at night, you see a light pole out, you say, well, tomorrow, I come this way every day. Tomorrow, I'm just gonna stop and I'm gonna get that pole number and put it in the ComEd. That would help us out too, because, and we're not asking you to do our job, but as part of the community, every little bit helps and contribute to keep our community lighted and safe. One thing I did when I first came in office, we had a lot of the lights that were only 125 watt. I asked ComEd to come in and replace them with 400 watt to make it a little brighter. If there's any instance you need to see at night, it would help you assist with that. Now we're in the process of trying to replace all our lights in the village with LED lighting. So we've got to have some conversation with ComEd and people about that. Yes.
Yeah, ComEd has this program where you can call them and they'll come out to your house and replace all of your poor lighting with brand new bulbs.
That's right.
And the things you plug your computer and things in, they are not supposed to last forever.
Right.
They'll give you new power strips. That's
Yeah. The information was that ComEd would come out. Actually, what they do, they'll come into your house, make an assessment, and then they will give you new light bulbs and different other power energy saving things that they do. So, yes.
Hi, Mayor. I'm Lucas Payne. I'm actually here to speak with you. My business partner, Mike Rose,
Right.
is also going to be here shortly. I'm a representative of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, and we're going to be talking about all of the different energy saving strategies for the village, including solar power, LED lighting, things to really cut down on the energy spend to help the mayor, like the mayor said, bring some of that revenue here, and also to cut down costs that the village is spending.
Thank you.
The programs are fantastic. There's $450 million a year allocated in ComEd's program for the next 10 years. We're going to make sure that Dolton gets its fair share of that money.
Yeah. Okay, Matt. Now the metal light poles. If you see lights, bulbs that are out on the metal light poles, what should they do, and who's responsible for those metal poles?
The metal light poles all belong to the village of Dolton. You see a metal pole, street light that's out, please get a correct address. If it's in the middle of the block, see if you can get the address off of the house. At the end of the block, the same thing, and call it into our office, and we'll get on it and get out there and get it checked out for you.
So, as some of you may know, the previous trustees had laid off or cut out the budget. Elizabeth, Matt was one of them, several other employees. So I brought back Matt as a manager. And so I'm happy to say that we're going to restore Matt back to his superintendent status with his pay. And I'm also going to be on Matt a little bit hard to be responsible for that superintendent pay and accountability. So, and Ms. Bond already got him this morning. You know, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I wish we had 100 more Ms. Bonds. I'm gonna be honest with you. Please, Ms. Bond is so connected and makes sure that we get on our job and do our job. Sends pictures, patrols this area like to the police. We need 100 more Ms. Bonds. Don't be afraid to participate and provide information where things that need to be done gets done. So, you know, I'm gonna give Ms. Bond her props today because we need more people like her to make sure that sure out to help, especially the retired people that sit home and watch all my children. When you go into the store, going to your doctor's appointment, or going to the grocery store, you see somebody that's dumped something, you know, please, you know, so we can get out there. Now, the flip side of that is Public Works is understaffed. And this time is the most demanding time for Public Works. We're going to hire some people in Public Works, at least get them up to where they need to be by union contract, so we can respond to all these complaints and things to get them, make sure that they get done. Okay? So Max got some help coming. Yes.
Okay, I want to know, you was talking about the fields, I'm talking about the people who don't cut their grass, the neighbors, are you still giving out tickets for that?
Yes, we're giving out tickets, and I can't, no, they do them every day. They give out tickets every day. Now, what we've been doing is, even though we need the revenue from the tickets, they give them a warning. Is it 72 hours? 48 hours. 48 hours. You may see some green tags on the door. The inspector's been there. They put the green tag on, give them 48 hours to get it cut. At that time, if it's not cut in 48 hours, they get issued a ticket. Yes?
Do you go down the alleys? Because I have grass almost tall as you. So.
They're issuing tickets down the alleys too. We've been taking portions of our of what we need to do, but in also with these vacant houses, when we send public works out to clean them up, they issue. How much you charging for a cleanup, Matt? What's that? It's not for a total cleanup.
No, depending on the
Okay, depending on what happens. If they do the front, back, whatever, but it can go up to high as $1,500 per cleanup. So they're trying to be on that. Well, now, the backyard. Now, can we? Yeah, we're issuing tickets about the alleys. Yeah, there is an ordinance in place, Mary Kay. There is an ordinance in place that they must clean up the immediate portion behind their garage. Is it to the light line? Or something? To basically where the lights are installed. That's kind of like a boundary. Well, you know, all we can do is issue tickets, and going to the extreme is that we cut it and then issue them an invoice. And then if they don't pay the invoice, or if they don't pay the ticket before that house is ever sold, they have to pay for all those violations. Yes. Pardon me? That's an issue. Now, when they gave all those houses away, it was included the vacant houses. Well, some of the houses where we really needed relief was the houses that had been abandoned for 10 years or you know, around that time period. That's where we really needed help. They didn't touch any of those houses. They went after the houses that were recently foreclosed and needed very little work, and took those houses, and they're selling them and reselling them, making huge profit on those houses. And we didn't get one dime for them. So the ones that we really need help in, hopefully we can continue, and not hopefully, but we will be continuing our demolition program with the county. Now there's some other steps. We were like the first ones on the pilot program when the county were demolishing houses. Now there's some further steps we have to take by getting asbestos tests on those houses before we tear them down, and before the approval, and to get them to come in and tear the houses down. Now they're assisting so many communities now with demolition of houses. We can't get them out here fast enough, but that will continue this year. Okay, any more questions? Yes.
This is not about public works. I guess it is. You know, this is the season for the mosquitoes, you know.
Right. They've already been out here. Cook County abatement. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I went over to their office in Harvey, told them that we had certain areas, and especially, not especially, but by my house is a vacant area, kind of forest street that holds a lot of water. So, yeah, a lot of flooding, but they've been out here already. Usually they come 3 to 4 times a season. But as you notice, with all this rain that we've had, they're everywhere, and they have to provide service in a lot of the other villages too. So, yes, yes. Why don't you stand up and we can.
Neighbors that don't cut their backyard.
Yeah.
My neighbor, the grass is taller than the house. There's weeds, there are trees,
Okay.
forests.
All right. Is somebody living
There
there?
has to be some kind of ordinance
Some-
to make them do something about this.
Some-
And if it's this way now in June,
Yeah.
and we still have to something,
Right.
it's still impossible. I shouldn't have to live like this.
Okay. One thing I want to do is check the ordinance, but I'm going to tell you this: we cannot go on their property That's trespassing. So we'll look into it. Why don't you give Mary Kay your address? We can research, see who's in there. We can have to step up enforcement in regards to possibly making them cut it. But well, now let me tell you this. Some people have different forms of what they call art. So, you know, I know there's some houses here, to me, they got all these different plants and bushes and everything in front of your front yard, and they intentionally planted that. To me, it looks like kind of forest or weeded, you know. So I'm not sure what's on his mind or her mind, but okay. But all I'm saying is that we're limited to what we can do when the house is occupied. Now, if it wasn't occupied, I don't know. That's what I don't know. I'm saying we're going to check the ordinance, and if we need to step up enforcement, whatever we can do, we will try to do it. But we're bound by certain laws too, you know, and the last thing we want to do is trespass and we wind up in a lawsuit or wind up, you know, so what we need to know is to know the address. If you can give it to Mary Kay, we can look at what type of enforcement we can take and go from that portion, yeah. So. Have you talked to your neighbor? I'm just asking. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a medical issue there? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, if you give Mary Kay the address, we'll look into it, and whatever enforcement action we can take to try to get him to help him along, we'll do that. Okay. All right, Matt. Matt's been reanointed to the superintendent's position. So we're putting the weight on Matt, okay? But we got to give him some help. That's one thing we got to do. We got to hire some more people in public works. Okay, any more questions before we do the raffle? I know Elizabeth, I think she left. We got Alice here today too. Alice can help us pick the tickets. You gonna help us today, Alice? Okay, all right. Yeah, Georgia. We didn't. What happened? Yeah, well, we can shorten it. Yeah, but anybody can leave anytime, you know? It just, oh, that's what you want. You want us to speed the drawing up, huh? Okay. And today we're not a little bit, I wanted to get out here earlier because I got to attend a funeral, but today we're not being rushed because they don't have an event in here today. But usually they have, yeah. Okay. Alice, you're going to have to help us this morning. How you doing today? Yes.
Want to make sure that everybody has tickets.
Oh, okay. Does everybody have a ticket? No? Okay. Jerome, you want to help out? Yeah. Okay. How you doing today, Wayne? We got Wayne here, one of our big supporters. Wayne is 100 and how many days?
About almost 30 days.
60 days.
Huh?
Almost 60 days.
From April, May, June, yeah, okay.
Almost 60 days. You know, we did honorary street renaming for the 2 blocks where Wayne lived at on Parkside on his birthday, on his 100th birthday, April 15th. So, all right, we have, we have 6 gift cards, and Jerome, who's been here with us for the last 6 years.
On behalf of the mayor, he's going to present those CDs.
Jerome has made, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 15 CDs here. He's naming it Father's Day, the Father's Day CD. Yeah, Father's Day is coming up here pretty soon, isn't it? Next Sunday. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Early Happy Father's Day. Yeah. And I had some fathers, a couple of fathers call me and say, hey, why the mothers, you always make sure there's Mother's Day dinner. Why can't you make sure brunch? Why can't you make sure there's a Father's Day brunch? I don't know. It's money. But I'm going to say this. That Mother's Day brunch cost us $5,000. Wow. It was good. Cost us $5,000. The village paid a portion of that, but we had some donors that donated money to make sure that that happened. You know, so anyway, that was a good, successful event. As you know, the last year or so was cut out by the trustees. So there's a lot of things that's been cut out that we're going to reinstitute. The election didn't happen fast enough for us. I had wanted not to have a primary election and just have a general election. I think some of the people did not understand the wording, but when you have a general election, it gives the candidates more time to campaign. Plus, you don't have to come out in February not knowing what the weather's going to be like, if it's going to be below zero or whatever, and then come out 8 weeks later to another election. So there's many towns. There was only a couple of towns in South Cook County that had 2 elections, a primary and a general. So we may try to do that again, just to have a general election instead of having a primary election. Also, yes.
I want to know if you could maybe consider next time when you're doing your fundraisers for the Mother's Day brunch, just do Mother's Day / Father's Day when you're soliciting the money.
So do we cut the money in half and give half of Mother's Day? Or for,
just let me understand that you're building up funds for both of the events.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna say I'm not discriminating against the fathers because I'm a father, but I'd rather do the Mother's Day brunch. Yes, Louise. Where's what? Ashad was one of the people that was cut out of the budget, and I didn't bring everybody back right away. We're going to be talking to Ashad, but I could not bring everybody back right away because of they weren't in the budget. This week coming up, we're going to start working on our budget, and hopefully we'll have our budget done by the end of the month. And we're going to fund some of those areas where the previous trustees had cut out. Even it wasn't just employees, but it was services too. So we're going to look at that, and by increasing our licensing fees, that will allow us to put certain things back in place, like for example the Sentinel newspaper, and there was one other thing that I wanted to, come back along with some of the employees. So we're looking at possibly those new licensing fees generating close to $150,000 in new revenue. And with the stepped up increase in water bills being paid. So we want to have a balanced budget, and I think we will. And I think with the increase of the licensing fees and some other areas where we will be able to generate revenue, we'll be able to meet our budget demands and put proper things in place. Now, one of the other things I want to step up with the increased enforcement is we have overweight truck scales. I don't think they've been utilized like they should have. We're going to dedicate some manpower to using those truck scales to step up enforcement of overweight trucks that damage our streets. And by the volume of trucks that we have down Sibley Boulevard, we certainly can generate a lot of revenue in regards to the overweight trucks. So those will be utilized 300 times percent of what they were utilized in the past. Is that right, Chief? Okay. So right now it's just trying to be creative, look at every aspect of generating revenue. One source that we are looking into now is there's a billboard at Sibley and Greenwood. We are just about 99% sure that we own that property and we have not been getting any rent for it. So we're going to, I talked about it in regards to going back and taking a look at the owners. Now I know the CBS used to own that board. One of our local businesses use it for advertisement. They are paying the current owners of the billboard a monthly fee or annual fee in regards to the advertising on there. We should be getting our money where that billboard is located on our property. And with all due respect, Mike Rose here is the owner of LFI, which is the property that Food for Less sits on. I'm in conversation with Mike now to bring some new development there. Also, Mike wanted to purchase property in the area to put billboards. Had a conversation with Mike yesterday in regards to that property that we have been looking into for the last couple of weeks in regards to ownership and that we should be getting revenue for. Mike says, I'd like to make a legitimate offer to purchase that property once you find out the particulars about it. So whether that happens or not, we're going to get our money that's due for that property. And if not, we'll entertain a legitimate offer from Mike Rose in regards to buying that property where we can start paying some of our debt down in the village of Dolton. And we're in the process right now of assessing every piece of vacant property that the village owns, and we're going to put it up for sale and or put it up for economic development. Isn't that right, Mary? So I've talked to our local engineer, I've talked to Mary. We're going to identify those properties. We're going to try to get rid of them or do some development to bring in some additional general revenue to the village. Okay, Alice, you ready?
Yes.
What are we going to do now?
Say we're gonna pull numbers.
We're going to pull numbers.
Tickets, ticket numbers.
All right. This is one of my biggest supporters here, Alice here. She can't vote yet, but hopefully she can influence some votes. Okay, Alice, what we're going to do now is we're gonna let you pull the tickets and call them out. Because Georgia got to leave. She wants to make sure whether she's going to win or not this morning. All right, Georgia, you ready? No?
293.
Those are
No, 295.
The
last three numbers is 295.
295.
295, we got a winner. Okay, come on up. No, she gets to pick. You get to pick what you like here. Okay, pull the next one, Alice. We got CDs here. I'm not sure what's in this bag. Jerome? Oh, Miss Creighton. Is there more than one in here, Miss Creighton? Okay, there's 5 sets of cookies here donated by Miss Creighton here. And what we're going to do is like the same thing we did last time. We had our Red Lobster gift card that was donated by Amos. How do you guys pronounce your last name? The Kirkendalls, okay? The Kirkendalls, okay. And I think it's for $300 this month. No, it's for $25. And they donated one last month, and they said throughout the rest of the year they're going to donate one every month. It's for $25, right? It's for $25. So, so this is the very last one that we're going to raffle off. It's the very last one we're going to raffle off. So, and then we have 5 Subway $10 denominations for Subway. And we like to you know, buy gift cards for some of the businesses that are in town. Now, don't let this deceive you. This card up here says $5 to $500. I can guarantee you it's not for $500. I can guarantee it. It's for $10. They're in $10 denominations. Okay, Alice, you ready for the next one? Okay, why don't we read the whole number? Can you read the whole number? Okay, okay.
911278.
Repeat it. Repeat it.
911278.
278. Okay. Mr. Youngblood. He's one of our residents here from the Dorchester. All right, we have the CDs. We have the cookies.
I'll take a cookie.
Okay. All right, good. All right, thank you. Okay, Alice, let's go.
911281.
281. We have a winner here. Okay. Jerome. Okay, that was a gift card. We're working with one microphone today. I miss Ed. Tell you.
Come on, take it all out. The whole number.
911281.
Here's one.
911294.
294.
What was my number? 284?
274.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
911298.
298. Okay. All right, Wayne.
298. He has it.
Wayne.
Just get something he says.
Gift cards, the cookies, and the CDs. Okay. All right, good. Okay, go ahead.
911268.
268.
Somebody in the back. Okay, that's the next one.
911280.
280. Okay, down. Yeah. This is last.
Oh, yes. Good.
All right. Yeah, here's the start. All right, go ahead, Alice.
That's the one she has right here, right? What's that?
I
Last
called
week.
that already. 911298.
298.
See, you gave the wrong one. You gave the wrong one. This one.
911293.
293.
Okay, let me tell us on this. 293.
Yes.
Call that one.
911-265.
911-265. All right, we got CDs and cookies left, and then the last drawing will be for the Red Lobster ticket. I got the winning ticket for the Lobster. You just called this.
911-287.
287. All right, George. Come on. You want the cookies or the CD? Oh, you want to wait? You want to wait?
Come on, tickets, come on out here. Hold on. I guess I'm gonna have to put my hand in there and get something. Yeah, because this thing's not working. Here you go.
911-290.
290. Grab it up right now.
911-266.
266. We're going to speed it up here a little bit. 266. 266.
Once, twice.
Gone. Okay. No.
911-284.
284.
Uh-oh, that's mine, isn't it?
284.
Is that mine?
274.
Okay.
284. Okay. Alice pulled her grandmother's ticket.
Okay. Okay, do this, do this. Do this.
911-277.
277. We only got cookies and CDs right now. Or you want to wait till the last drawing? Can I wait till that? If you want. You don't pick up something else.
Okay, calm.
All right, all we have is CDs. I'm
What's
going to
that
save
number?
these
What's
last
that? I
cookies
forgot.
for Alice for helping us.
What's your last name?
911-286.
286. 286.
Who said it was me?
286. No? Okay.
911-291.
291. We still have some fruit and sweet rolls up here. More coffee if you like it.
291.
291.
911-283.
283. 283. 283.
It's 283.
Amos, you want your lobster card back? Thank you.
All right,
Now, Amos is a
911-288.
288. Come on up.
Okay,
Yes,
288.
Amos is a retired Allstate agent. So if you got any questions in regards to insurance, he can possibly help you out. Is that right, Amos? He's an in-house consultant.
288.
911-274.
274.
Nobody got 274?
That's your number.
274.
That's your number.
That's okay. I don't care. Put it right there.
Go ahead.
I don't want it.
Put it out.
Thank you.
I already called this one. 911-276.
276. 276.
Going once. Oh, there's somebody's left. Just wait.
Thanks, Jerome, for the CDs.
Okay, go on.
911-282.
282. 282. 282. Okay.
911 270.
270.
Okay. 270. She's coming.
911 269.
269.
Say it again. Say it. I think they coming.
911 272.
272. 272.
That's 272.
272. Dolores, how you doing this morning?
911 296.
296.
Hey, Mr. Lewis.
296.
Nobody coming?
Nine 289.
289. 289.
Yeah.
All right.
911 267.
267.
Nobody.
911 273.
273.
273.
Okay, hold on. So, you know. Okay. All right, put that back in there, 273.
What's this?
285.
It's 285.
Where's 270?
Oh, I cut it up. That's okay. That's okay. I call it. It's win again. Okay. I'll just put this.
All right, put that back in there.
273. That's 273. That little one.
Put that back in there. Hold on now. Where's let me have the mic. Okay, drum roll. This is the drawing for the Red Lobster $25 gift certificate. Okay, pick my number.
I should have put mine back. Okay, I don't look this way.
All right, here, the winner is
Yes.
911 271.
271. Okay. Now, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Allison, Virginia. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Mayor, I wanted to take this opportunity to invite everyone who would like to come.
Miss Creighton, can I present this first? Okay. Now, you don't have to take this. You can give it to me. But if you want it, okay.
I take it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's the winner for our Red Lobster gift certificate, $25. Thanks to Kirkendalls for donating that. All right, Miss Creighton.
Opportunity to invite everyone out to our Fathers in the Park barbecue next Sunday. You and your family are more than welcome to come out and enjoy our youth and young men that are going to be barbecuing.
What time is that?
That time will be from from 2 o'clock to close dusk.
Okay, 2 o'clock next Saturday in the park.
Next Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I said, next Sunday. Father's Day. No, next Sunday, Miss Creighton, we're about in the park, in which park?
We're on Irving, the pavilion on Irving.
Okay, the pavilion on Irving in the main park, next Sunday, Father's Day, 2 o'clock, Father's Day barbecue. Okay, thank you. Yes. What was that? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Alice, we got some cookies for you. Thank you. Thank you for helping.
You're welcome.
What school are you in, Alice?
Berger Vandenberg School.
Did you get ice cream this year?
Yes.
All right, thanks. All right. Thank you all for coming today. That concludes our coffee with the mayor.